Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is Betska K-Burr. She's a master coach, aka the Guru Coach. She is a co-president, head of research, development, and training at Coaching and Leadership International, a professional speaker, and a best-selling author of many books. So I have the list here. I'll have the link of the books on Amazon and her website as well. So one of the books that caught my attention immediately, we talked briefly off record, is The God in Coaching, The Key to a Happy Life. That just stood up immediately. And of course, we'll be talking about that in a moment. But I want to mention as well that one of your latest books that you are a co-author for that one, it's called Unleashing Potential Strategies for Life Balance. And the chapter that you wrote is titled Mind-Kinetics for Permanent Positive Change, which is the topic of this conversation today. So this is my brief introduction. The full bio will be at the end of the video and also on the podcast notes. But for now, Betska, the question that I love asking my guests as soon as we begin this conversation is, how would you describe yourself in this very moment? Who are you? Who is Betska?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So deeply appreciate being here with you today. You're a wonderful human being. I love what you do, so thank you.
Thank you.
So how would I describe myself? I would describe myself as, let me share with you that Betska, the Guru Coach, where that came from, because it kind of defines who I am today, right? So I've been to India 8 times to teach our coaching methodologies and doing leadership programs and so on. And one day, I was getting this award for the science that we've developed. And this reporter came up to me. He was in my webinar, it was a live seminar, and he came up to me and he knelt down in front of me as if to kiss my feet. And I went, I was startled. And the business people, our business partners there, said to me, Betska, it's okay. He was just honoring who you are, as have many other people who have come to work, with me and study with us in India. And they started to call me the Guru Coach. And so I said, well, why are you calling me that? And they said, well, because, we've done a lot of studying of leadership programs and coaching programs, and very few of them stick. Very few of them actually work. And because your program has a spiritual bent to it, clearly, it has a spiritual bent. They just all started to call me the Guru Coach. But you know what, Valeria? I was a little shy. I was a little shy.
Imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
And then, I had so many of the senior coaches come to me and say, Betska, you have to come out of the closet.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to take the moniker they'd given me and I attached it to my name. And it's because the program is deeply embedded with spirituality, but not a religion per se, but our human spirit and who we are, love of ourselves, respect of ourselves, faith and faith in God too, whatever it is,
Yes.
So that's how I define myself today.
How beautiful. You see, that's something that we often, it was my case too, the word spirituality, God, I was hesitant, for so many years, trying not to use those words because a lot of people have been traumatized, it seemed to me. And right, with religion, with the imposition of the rules. So, but as of today, Betska, how do you see this idea of spirituality? And more precisely, who is God to you?
Well, such a great question. I practice the Kuan Yin method of meditation. It's a minimum of 1.5 hours of inner light and 1 hour of inner sound. And that's where the science of mind-kinetics came from, which I know we're going to be talking about. But so to me, God means that we have we are made, we come from God, we are made from God, right? We are a piece of God. So therefore, we have all the godly qualities within us. It's just that we have forgotten how to tap into that, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm meditating every day, the teacher is Supreme Master Ching Hai, and what a role model this woman is. She's a businesswoman as well, but just so highly evolved. I don't think any other human on the planet can get to her level. But, we all strive to be like her and like other masters on the planet, like Christ and Buddha and Mohammed, may peace be upon him, and so on and so forth. So when I say God, I mean a number of things. One, when I see light inside, that's the light of God. When I hear sound inside, when I'm doing the sound meditation, and that's not an outer sound, not, it's the inside. So you can hear violins, or you can hear harps or bells or whatever, depending on the level of consciousness you are at. So that to me is God. And then also, the broad definition is the divine within us. Connecting to that divine self. If we all come from God, and I believe we do, then it's vital that we connect to that divinity every day.
Yes. I'm a student of Advaita Vedanta, which is a Hindu also philosophy, and
excellent.
It's very clear to me. They're very scientific, so it's a very science-oriented spiritual approach to seeing reality for what is, to seeing truth. And they do say that I am God. It's just that we have forgotten, and a lot of us cannot say that because we don't really believe it. So we can't really be a reflection of God, which it's interesting to even talk about that, because what would that look like? So that's the question for you. With the work that you do as a coach through Mind-Kinetics, the system that you have created, what is the goal? What does somebody look like and behave like and feel like once they have realized certain truth?
Yes. Are you familiar with Swami Vivekananda?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I was delivering a program for some bankers in India, and the head of the bank gave me a copy of Swami Vivekananda's book. And I have gone through, it's dog-eared now.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
It's just the teachings are phenomenal. And then a student gave me like a set of 10 books on Swami Vivekananda. But the one message that he has in the book that the banker gave me was that we are pure because we are God. We have, and our soul is pure.
Yes.
Yeah. So every day it's important for us to seek to be one with God, right? And I love how he describes it. He says, okay, so why do we have difficulty being one with God? And he describes it like, okay, we have the soul, and then he said we have this veil covering our soul. And it's that veil that is stopping us from becoming one with God. So then he started to talk about, and this is what we teach in our courses when coaches and leaders come to learn from us, that because the soul is perfect, the soul has all the answers, then how do we penetrate that veil to get to the soul? How do we do that? Well, we can do that through meditation, but sometimes the veil is so thick, depending on our karma from past lives and so on and so forth, that we need a system to get at it. So with our Mind-Kinetics coaching system, and I really like to see Mind-Kinetics in front of it, because our coaching system is so unique in the world, mind, body, spirit, right? So example, we can help a client go into their subconscious mind, and in less than 5 seconds, they will tell us the exact age of when a negative thought or a negative pattern or a negative habit started. 5 seconds,
Right.
Valeria.
Wow, that's quick. Yeah.
Very fast. And then we have a discussion. Okay, what happened to you at this age? And then, what were your negative beliefs at that time? And then we turn those negative, we write out new belief systems. So we find out their negative pattern, negative thought, and then we switch it into a positive belief.
Yeah.
And then we anchor the positive into the subconscious mind, which is in some cells in the body, could be one or more cells in the body. We have over 1 trillion cells in our body. And then the switch happens because we take the client into their superconscious for solutions. So that's what Vivekananda was talking about, is that we need tools to penetrate that very thick veil, that fake self, because our God self is not fake. We are, so how do we do that? And so Mind-Kinetics has that ability to penetrate and the subconscious mind and find out, well, what are the negative beliefs and patterns we have, and what are the positive ones that we can amplify. And it's just very fast. We do that in one 90-minute session. We can switch a negative to a positive. That's power.
Yeah, that's really fast. You see, what's not to love about that? Because I think the way to really come to the realization that we are not just part of God, but we are God in the sense of the body mind is happening in God anyway. So it is that it's healing. It is kind of suspending the conditionings that we have been brought up with since it was so little. Yeah, and that takes work, that's for sure. Another question is Mind-Kinetics for everyone? It's applicable to everyone, even children?
Yeah. Oh my God, Valeria. Yeah. When children come to my office, and depending on their age, we'll get down on the floor and I will have stuffed animals and rocks and, and just miraculous things can happen when we switch the negative thoughts in their subconscious at a very young age, right? And, I have young people all around the world. Like I'm working with some young people from India right now who have had some, serious issues, teenagers. And then another one from North America who is psychotic. And he's worked with a number of counselors, therapists, psychiatrists. And he actually said to his therapist recently, he said, Mind-Kinetics is what has helped me the most. He was just so open because of its spiritual bent. You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what does it. If you're trying to heal just using the logical left mind, it rarely works. You have to get the heart. You have to hit the heart.
Right. Yeah. It becomes too intellectual and then we're just believing something else. Although I like the idea. I mean, of course, this is the way that it's done a lot of times with coaching, even psychology, that it's just replacing belief systems. But I wonder if we can live in the present moment with what is happening without believing in anything, but just kind of open to what is happening, what seems real, it is here. Yeah. That's how I try to navigate this reality, although I have to say, of course, we all have belief systems, right, hidden somewhere.
Yes. Well, the spiritual teachers, all of them say, let's be in the moment.
Yes.
Let's be in the present moment. But when you think about how difficult that is for people, I work with a lot of leaders around the world, corporate leaders and government leaders and so on.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them to be in the moment. They've got all this energy coming at them. And then the other thing I wanted to point out to you was that it's so sad that in the United States and Canada, and I can't speak for other countries, but we basically took God out of our schools. We took God out of our corporations, except for some of the really powerful corporations where they now have meditation rooms inside.
Yes, right.
I think Google has one, for example, in California. But, when I was a kid, we would open our day with O Canada, and we'd finish our day with God Save the Queen. And in the meantime, we would say a prayer. We would say
Yes.
the God's prayer, the Lord's prayer. Yeah. So don't do that anymore, do we?
No. So the other day I was watching a movie with my husband. It's usually the kind of movie that I usually don't watch because they're violent and all that, but he wanted to watch something like that. I think the movie is called Traffic, and then there's a lot of violence and people betraying one another, and drugs and all that. And then in the end, that's what really came to me as a message. That's a life. That's experiencing life without God. That's what would that look like? This movie.
That's right.
And then you just mentioned this now. It came to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it feels like, we have forgotten God. And I wonder how that happened. Do you know when this happening in the human history? How did we just completely forget?
Well, my husband was reading a book a long time ago. I forget the name of it, but in that book, when we're talking centuries ago, when the priests, the church leaders, were the people who looked after the mind, body, and spirit of people. They looked after all three.
Yeah.
And then the medical profession came along and said, no, you can't look after the body. We will look after the body.
I see.
So an immediate split happened because the medical profession then started to work with the body without a spiritual connection, because the church was supposed to be looking after that. Now, I have an Ayurvedic doctor. I live in Canada, but my Ayurvedic doctor lives in India. And he connects the mind, body, and spirit with he even prays over his herbs before he sends them. He's a Hindu as well. Oh my God. And the power of the healing herbs, it's not just something somebody put together. They pray over them.
Right.
You know? So I think and the other major piece, the major reason is that we have moved away from spirituality, and we think that power is in money and greed.
Right.
So we've lost that deep connection with our spirit, and it's about, okay, I can have a fancier car, I can have, I want my clothes to look like my neighbor's clothes or be better. It's always being materially better.
Yes.
And we never raised our daughter that way, I can tell you. Yeah, it's not good, how we are raising our children today. And I always, in fact, because I'm a podcaster myself, I was interviewing this amazing man, and he's a podcaster for Christ. And we were having this conversation about, well, what's happened? How did we take, if for the Christians, I believe in all the religions. I'm a student of all religions, but I said, so, I asked him that question, like, how can we bring people back to Christ? How can we do that? And in fact, he even let me coach him and come up with some solutions to it privately. And I was very grateful to that, because we all hit roadblocks. We all hit blind spots. And, even the guru coach needs a coach. I'm not immune, and I need help. I need help from time to time, and I've got my people that I go and talk to about that. So did I answer your question?
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. The split happened when we just kind of had different people taking care of different parts of the human being, which is not really parts. It's a whole, right? We're coming from wholeness. But I love this part of humility too, that piece, Betska. Yeah, that inspires. I mean, that's really, it's obvious to me that comes from wisdom, right? When we know the body mind is so fragile, and we know that. But there's something about, the spirit, that once we are in touch with that, it's okay even to let go of the limitations of the body. It's something that I came to really realize. acceptance, and I just kind of let it be in a peaceful way.
Yeah.
Easy said than done. It has been an interesting dance for sure.
So can I ask you a question? I'd love
Yes,
to know,
sure.
what are some of the major teachings of your spiritual practice that you use every day? What are they?
Yes, yeah. So because it's knowledge based, Vedanta, this Hindu philosophy, has to do with knowing. So once you know, then you can't really not know. Now you know that there is this foundational, basic reality, absolute reality that kind of embraces everything else. So there's the absolute reality and then the sub realities, the relative reality, which is the body mind. So basically, it's more difficult in a way than the devotional path. People who believe in God as a separate entity of themselves, like deities, it's kind of more difficult because you don't have something to kind of look at it. It's you yourself, that energy. So
Yes.
it's basically a contemplation. So I wake up contemplating and kind of with deep reflection, how can I see everything as God? So every day, every moment's like, oh, you God, everything's God. This microphone is God.
Very good. Very good. That's excellent. Yes.
Yeah, so I go by like every moment of the day, and it gets funny at some point, and then it gets the mind kind of resists some aspects of this reality, relative reality. For example, the violence, the wars happening. That's a tough one to say. This is God too, but it is, isn't it? Everything is God. That has really helped me personally, in a sense of a body mind, to be more peaceful.
Well, that's the first step, I believe, in being a whole person and becoming divine. Merging into our divinity with God is understanding first.
Yes.
So, for example, with the First and Second World Wars and any war, those happened because the Almighty God had to clean the karma off of our planet.
Yeah.
So that very deep cleansing, and then when you look at what's happening in Ukraine right now, huge amount of karma being cleansed, not just for Ukraine, not just for Russia, but for the whole planet. So we're cleaning the karma, and oh my God, it's painful to watch. Painful to watch the pain that the Ukrainian people are going through, and how we've been suffering for them too.
Right.
And so we can feel it. There's a saying that if a butterfly flaps its wings in Ukraine, can we feel it here in the United States and Canada energetically? And the answer is yes. So because we are all in oneness at some level or other, we are going to feel that energy. And that's why sometimes we wake up and we feel sad and we don't know why.
Yeah, right.
Because something as major has happened. And so that's why having a spiritual practice is so important, so you can lift yourself back up again. Which reminds me, some of your viewers might want a free self-coaching tool that I developed 20 some years ago. And they can go to www.thebrainwalk.com.
Yes.
And there, within 15 minutes or less, they can develop a solution to a challenge or a goal. And I want to tell you the story of how I developed it. It's really interesting. Do you remember when George Bush attacked Iraq?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And all that bloodshed, and oh my God, I was so upset.
Yeah.
And so I got down on my hands and knees and I prayed to God and I said, I can't handle more bloodshed. I mean, this is too much. And so I said, can you please give me a methodology that we can share with the world, so whenever people feel anxiety or anger or any of the negative emotions, and if they can't afford a coach, we send them there because it's free of charge, and we don't have any cookies or anything. We don't know who's using it.
Right.
It's completely free to the world, and again, within 15 minutes, you can come up with, well, here's how it works. The subconscious will bring forward using a random generator, and the random generator has all of these values in it. See? Like, this is the value of faith, right? And then there's others like acceptance, honesty, integrity, grace, gratitude, whatever. So the random generator attaches to your subconscious mind and brings out the number one stressor for you at this moment, the number one thing that's challenging you. It's miraculous. Please, people, go and try it. You're going to be amazed at how that works. And then you have to type it into the little chat box, and you're the only one interacting with this, by the way. Think of this as a very old AI. It's been around for a long time. So you're typing out what's bothering you at a subconscious level, and then using the random generator, you pick another values card that is a strength of yours. And you have to type in, how is acceptance, for example, a strength of yours? And then you have to write down how that strength of acceptance is a solution to your stressor, whatever that challenge was. And pops start to happen. They go, oh, okay. Because lots of people forget that they have strengths. They're so focused on their negatives. Yeah. So the system gets them to use their fabulous God-given strength to overcome the challenge. And then they walk the brainwalk map, and it walks them through all the chakras. And then it takes them into their superconscious for solutions that come in the form of symbols, objects, colors, feelings, or sounds.
I think the ones that said, there's a tab on your website that says free self-coaching. Is that the same? And I saw the brainwalking one. Yeah, I'll have that here.
Yeah.
Is that the same? They're different. Yes. Oh, they're the same thing. Okay.
They're the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Right on the top, on the navigation bar, the brainwalk is there. But in the free self-coaching, there are other self-coaching tools in there. For example, how to achieve goals. Or here's another powerful one that your viewers may enjoy, and is finding our spiritual life purpose.
Yeah.
It is amazing. On within minutes, you can find your spiritual life purpose. Why are you here? What is your soul contract with God? And once we know that, we can lead a more meaningful life.
Yes. Yeah. That's connected to calling. Yes. I do have another initial question that I didn't ask you, if you don't mind. How do you define success these days, Betska? What is to succeed in this life?
I'm going to answer it the way we started off on this recording, and that is, to me, success is ultimately being one with God. Feeling that oneness and feeling like, I believe, for example, that our meeting here today is because, we're wanting to become more and more one with God. Yes. So that to me is ultimate success. It also means being a noble human being. Like following the precepts, the Buddhist precepts or the 10 Commandments. So I'm vegan. I won't kill anything, right? So no animal goes into my mouth. I only eat plants and grains and fruits and so on and so forth. And leading an honest life, being very honest.
Yes.
And respecting people. Do not lie, do not cheat, do not steal, do not use anything that warps the mind, like alcohol or drugs or anything like that, right? So to me, success starts at that top level, really working towards feeling one with God every single day, and then being a noble human being by following all those precepts that I talked about. And then teaching others, like, I'm a new grandmother, Valeria.
Oh, yes, congratulations. How beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, my God,
yes.
That's beautiful.
He's just two months old. He's absolutely adorable.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm so happy that I can be in his life.
Yeah.
to be a noble example of what. And I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm in my garden and I kill a worm by mistake.
Yes.
So I mean, we just do our best, and we're living in a world that is stressful, and sometimes we can't meditate well, and that's okay. It's all right.
Mm.
But I want to be around to guide him with the permission of our daughter and our son-in-law. But very special. I'm so excited to be a grandma.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful to me. Wow, what a beautiful experience, right? To pass wisdom forward.
Yes. Yep.
What inspired you to do what you're doing today? You have been doing actually, Betska, for so long. How did
Oh,
you start?
wow. Yeah, we never got to that yet.
Yeah.
It's a good story. I was a senior executive in an international company here in Canada, and doing my thing. We had moved the company from 0 to 45 million in 4 years, which for a Canadian company, that's pretty big. And then after the birth of our daughter, something happened inside of me. Now I know it was my spiritual awakening. But back then, I didn't fully understand. My head went fuzzy. And remember, I'm a senior executive, right? My head went fuzzy. My lower back was so painful, I had trouble getting out of a chair. So I went to my family doctor and I said, what's going on? And she said, well, let me do some tests. So she did some tests, came back, there's nothing wrong with you. I said, yes, there is something wrong with me. My head's fuzzy, my lower back is very painful. And she said, well, maybe I can prescribe some antidepressants for you. I said, no, I do not want mind control. I want my mind to be very clear. So maybe because I turned that down, God guided me to this wonderful woman named Jan Sweeney, who has gone to heaven now. And she taught me some early subconscious tools. So I could go into my subconscious, as we said earlier, find those ages where, my negative thoughts or negative patterns began.
Yeah.
And some of them began in the womb, because when I was in my mother's womb, this man hit my mother quite severely in the stomach. So that baby is thinking, this world's violent. Why do I want to come into this violent world, right? Yeah. And then so many things happened, and sexual abuse by my mother's uncle, my mother's brother, and then my mother's gone to heaven now. But she didn't believe me. And when you're a 7-year-old child, you go to your mother. She wouldn't believe me. And it was such a painful experience for this little girl, right? And then the list goes on of different types of abuse I've encountered in the corporate world and other places. And so when Jan taught me these tools, Valeria, I had a lot to work on.
Yeah.
And I happily use them to go into my subconscious to find out because I had blocked out the sexual abuse by my uncle. I'd blocked out, the tummy hit. I'd blocked out that the village priest had actually abused me as well at 3. I blocked it. So all this stuff started to come forward, and Jan gave me the support I needed, gave me that leg up. So I started healing using her. I think she taught me like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 tools, something like that. And then as I started cleaning out my subconscious mind of the debris, of the negative thoughts, then God gave me, through my meditation practice, these 80 plus methodologies that are now called the science of Mind-Kinetics for coaching and leadership. And then another 40 tools to go into the superconscious. We are very unique. We don't know of any other modality, including psychiatry, psychology, therapy. We don't know of any other modality that has the same depth and breadth of this methodology. But I didn't develop it for others. I was developing it for me.
Right.
And you mentioned to me you had a dog, and
Yes.
sometimes, so I would work on myself, and then I get stuck. So little Rosie, she was a poodle bichon, so cute. She would come into my office and ask to go on my lap.
Oh, yeah.
And she would sit there, and instantly the next question would come, Valeria. That dog was helping me heal.
Yes.
Helping me develop the science.
Yeah.
And so I kept working on myself, developing more tools. And then one day, this lady said to me, Betska, I've watched you heal yourself. Do you think you can help me? I said, I don't know. I can try.
Yeah.
So she came. By that time, I had a little office, and just for me, you know. And she came and saw great progress, and her daughter did, who had major problems. The daughter had major problems, and her husband too. The whole family moved into healing mode with great success. He hadn't had a job in years, and then he finally got a job, and so on. So, and then people said, okay, well, now can you teach us how to do this work? I said, I guess so. So I started developing weekend workshops, and then before we know it, you know, I've got clients in 50 plus countries, and we have students, and I don't know, 35. I've lost track, and that's ego anyway. I don't, you know, but suffice it to say, we've done a big reach into the world to teach Mind-Kinetics, and we welcome all professionals, whether they are coaches or therapists or people who do hypnosis, psychiatrists, whatever. Come and learn this mind, body, spirit method, because I guarantee you it's going to give you fabulous results for your patients and your clients.
Yes. So please, can you mention the website again, Betska? Is that coachingandleadershipinternational.com?
It's just coachingandleadership.com.
Okay, so that's it.
Our company name is Coaching and Leadership International, Inc., but too long of a URL, So just coachingandleadership.com.
So I'll have this on the podcast notes. I'll have the website, and I also have the book. I know the book has a different website. The book Unleashing Potential Strategies for Life Balance. That's a different website. Pixel Publishing.
Yes.
So I'll have the link there too. But one of the things that you said that caught my attention, suffering. So unnecessary suffering, from what I see, what you went through, what I went through, is so many people, especially women. I know I've seen this. This is just kind of. Gets me into that moment of like speechless. I don't have words even to get started with this. Why do we abuse one another? Especially the innocent animals and children. So how do you make sense of suffering, unnecessary suffering? What is the cause of that? Do you go to the idea of karma, the concept of karma, or do you have a different understanding?
Well, yes, the karma is there. However, the karma can be broken.
Right.
And first of all, we have to want to heal. We have to want to end the suffering, the trauma. And I have another book coming out soon on that, and I think that would be really worthwhile for people to see, but I'm not ready to launch it yet. But people have to want to heal and stop the suffering. And many people don't even realize they can. Right. And here's the other. Many people, like I've worked with women who, let's say they're being abused by their husband. And it comes out when we go into the subconscious mind. We find out that they want to suffer. So why do they want to suffer? Because if they stay the victim, then the husband will continue to go to work and support them and bring money into the home, and the woman doesn't have to go out and work.
Wow. Yeah.
So we look at that whole victim mentality and switch it, because maybe they don't have to go out and earn money, but they can go out into the community and help the homeless or help the addicted teenagers or whatever. There's so much help that needs to be done in the world, right?
Right.
So we can end the suffering, and it's important with people who have deep, deep karma to meditate as well. Do the inner work using Mind-Kinetics, also learn a very good and safe meditation method, because there are many meditation methods that are not as safe. Yes. So you really want to make sure you find a safe one.
Yes. Wow, that's well said, though. The victim mentality, stay in that mindset because it has benefits, right? It's almost like, oh, I'm benefiting from it. Wow, that's an interesting strategy from the false self, right? The ego self.
Yeah, that's right.
That's amazing. Isn't it? When you think about it, why would you do that? It's like perpetuating suffering, unnecessary suffering.
And they don't realize it.
Yeah.
They don't realize it until we go into the subconscious and they go, oh my God, I want to suffer because of this. Or I want my husband to continually beat me.
God. So that's a question, another question. Well, I have too many questions, but we're almost at the end. Another question, one that came to me before we started recording today. Do you feel that if we get to know what we are, not even who we are, because that would be the parts of us, but what we are essentially, spiritually, would that somehow heal the other aspects of being? In a sense, the spirit, now your mind body becomes the healing process because it's being, let's say, touched by it, has been flavored by the spirit. Is that possible?
What do you think?
Yes, because it has been my experience. But not too many people that I'm around, they really had the traumas that I had in childhood too. So we cannot really talk about, kind of compare or, relate, because they are spiritual, they're beautiful, they're peaceful, but then they didn't have my experiences. So I'm wondering for that, like in your case, do you feel like the more connected you feel spiritually, the more your body mind kind of surrenders to that realm, to that flavor?
Absolutely. Unless you have a strong spiritual practice, and I include Mind-Kinetics in that, but especially meditating with a real living master, like as I think I mentioned, my master, Supreme Master Ching Hai, she works with you on the inside. So what happens is that you will change your diet automatically, because she's helping you, and if your husband or wife comes home and she's not treating you very well, instead of reacting violently, you will react with calm and peace and love.
Right.
So your whole being gets affected by a strong spiritual practice. I don't know what I would do if I had not met this particular master who has taught us to, be one with God, and to look at ourselves. She's always teaching us to look at ourselves and to think positively and clean out your karma. And oh my God, she's been a tough teacher, but I'm glad she was tough.
Yes.
Because it woke me up. Yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah. That's a beautiful suggestion about having a teacher, a guide, like a coach. We need that.
Yes. A living master, right?
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, if you have a toothache, you go and see a live dentist.
Yes. Yes.
If you want to really embrace spirituality, you need to have a live living master, someone who is fully enlightened already. And that's why, all the ones who are people who are, Christians or Hindus or Muslims, whatever, it's important for them to keep their religion, whatever it is, but find a living master who will help you connect yourself to that God within you. Does that make sense?
It does, because it has to do with the presence, right, Betska? There's something about the presence that it reflects, almost like a mirror. It is reflecting that purity in us, the pure consciousness, the God in us. Yes, I absolutely agree. Gosh, we're almost at the end. It has been wonderful. I love how wise, how humble, how spiritual you are. I mean, everything is spiritual to me. Everything is God. But there's something about reflecting God that really for some reason, yeah, my body mind kind of looks for it, or even making the like these conversations more sacred. That's what I look to do here. Like, so we have this meeting of investigating truth. That's really what I'm most interested in. And with that in mind, I guess my last question to you. Before that, I have a last question for you, the final question. But is there anything that we left unsaid, that you left unsaid, that questions I didn't ask, anything that you'd like to bring to this conversation, Betska, before we say goodbye?
I really believe it's the emphasis on the 10 Commandments or the 5 precepts or whatever your spirituality brings in terms of how to be a noble human being. Do not lie, cheat, steal, do not kill animals or humans, that sort of thing. And then also remembering the importance of loving ourselves so much that we are willing to look at ourselves and what is tucked away in the heart, our blind spots and roadblocks that maybe we've forgotten about.
Wow, that's a powerful message that we all need to be reminded of, right? The level of body, mind. Oh, yes, looking at ourselves. Oh, I don't look good today. It's easy to criticize, to put ourselves down. Yes, that's so true. How beautiful. I love everything about you. What are you doing? You have been doing for so long. I didn't know. So that's wonderful that my team just introduced us. So my last question, this platform is titled The Freedom to Feel for a Reason. So I'll just pick the word freedom. What is to be free? What is freedom? How do you manifest freedom in this reality?
Again, 2 things. Every time you do a Mind-Kinetics session, a coaching session, or if you go to thebrainwalk.com, or we have apps on the Apple Store that you can also go and use. Once you let go of those negative thoughts, those negative patterns and negative habits, you go, you are set free. You are connecting to that soul, and your soul is celebrating, going, yay, yay, yay. You've broken free of all that negativity that's been holding you back from really loving yourself. So to me, that's freedom. And then also when you are in an intense meditation with a living master, and our master invites everybody at 9 p.m. Hong Kong time, whatever meditation practice you use, we can join her for an hour.
Yes. Good to know.
It's just very simple, right? And that meditation practice, I would not be who I am if I didn't have that guidance from within.
Yes.
Very deep guidance. And so that's what freedom means, that we're not connected to this physical, material world. We have to live here.
Yes.
But that we are connected to our spiritual self. That gives us freedom.
Yes, 1 billion times to that truth. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again. Thank you, Betska. I love how beautiful this message is. It's a reminder, really, and you are living proof of that. So thank you so much again for doing what you do, for being open.
Thank you.
To life.
Thank you. Your service to the world, Valeria, is outstanding. So keep it up.
Oh my God, I love this. Yeah, I love talking about these things. So, and sharing it. So you take good care of yourself, and we'll talk soon. We'll be in touch again.
You too.
Bye for now.
God bless.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye now.